All right, let's get this over with. All right, so let's get the trades that actually worked today out of the way. IPDN, right off the bell, short, came back down to that previous resistance if we scroll out just from the high of Friday. And that was pretty simple. PFSW, pretty big gap up, got a nice little move up there through 1150. Pretty much topped it. 1167 high was 1180. Got the pullback, took that one off. And the one that started all of this today was the CLSD. And I probably shouldn't have been trading today anyway. The kid stayed home. He wasn't feeling well the last 2 days, so we were giving him one more day to kind of make sure he was good. And yeah, so this one is what kind of started it. We got short. We took off 80% of our position, and I don't remember. I think we went to take him, like he had to go to the bathroom or something. I don't remember what it was. I'd have to go back and watch it. And it ends up going higher when we sat back down. We were like, okay, let's just hammer it. We get our shares back, bring our average up, and we're good to go. And that was fine. We actually were green for a smidge, and then it started to go back up, and this is where I made the mistake. Still just, I guess, flustered from what was going on. I was having flashbacks of OCX when this exact same thing happened, but I had full share size. I didn't take any off. And this entry here was my mistake. I added on the way up just for the heck of it, just to get my average up. And then I kind of looked over to see what my average was, and I realized that my P&L was a little higher than it probably should have been. And I was like, oh, I didn't realize I was this heavy that quick. And but as you can see, it just kept on going. But we were at that key area of $7. Let's try to make this a little bigger. We're at the key area of $7, and another huge oof on my end is we get part of the ad, and then we added twice more. Not one of them was over $7, which is just ridiculous in itself. The only thing that would have done was got our average up a little bit, as well as would have lost us less money because it popped down from 720. It got back under 7, and then it came back up and reclaimed that high of day, which is where we ended up cutting half of our position. So when we took half off of the reclaim, it was actually 200, yeah, at 720. Tried to go higher. It was a fake out breakout immediately. We went to add back those 200 shares. We only added back 100. Just again, mentally wasn't paying attention, I guess. And we get the flush. And if we had got the 200 shares there, this would have ended up being a green trade. And I'm probably in a completely different mindset because I was still down, I think, $5 all said and done when this trade was over right here. We were trying to hold this for that move back down here towards 550, at least the 621. But it just kept reclaiming VWAP, and when it finally reclaimed and held, that was our sign to get out. So we did. And as you can see, right after that, it decided to try to go a little bit higher and then go all the way back down to what we were looking for originally. So as all this is happening, I'm sitting here like, come on, just give me one trade so I can get back to break even, maybe, turn this into a green day and start working from there. And then GLOP comes along. And I mean, it had a decent, okay move through $5. Like, there wasn't anything wrong with this play as far as starting it. But when we took most of it off here, when we started to look for the descending triangle to form here for it to fall over, when it doesn't fall over here, we have to be cutting it high of day. And we end up only taking half off. And I think I ended up walking out for something like the kid was at me again. And I mean, I don't even know what to call this. I mean, have you ever seen me trade like this? I mean, look how horrible this is. Felt like the top, added in, wasn't, cut it at the highs. Felt like it was the top again, added in, wasn't, went higher, cut it again. And we did it 4 times. Literally did this 4 times in a row. Literally just handing money over. And look at the 9, just grinding away. Like, how bad is that? How bad is that? Got in heavy one last time, looking for this thing to fall over. Clearly wasn't. Just got out completely. Figured we'd just let it make its move. And then it it popped through the highs. It wasn't even like a pop or anything. Just kind of grinded through. And I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to throw 100 shares at it and just be done with it. And I said, if it goes through 6, I'm just going to cut it and whatever. Well, while that was happening, right in between these two candles, DTST happened. And the only reason I got out of this is because the broker forced me out. I would have still probably been holding this if I could have. But DTST came along, and, you know, we saw this was actually a decent pop, right? Previous resistance 650, popped up through 7. We were actually up quite a bit on this. We took 100 shares. We added 100 shares on the backside, looking for it to come back down. And it got a little spready, so I didn't want to hit the spread, but we were up $20 at one point, which would be amazing on a normal day, and that was with the spread. But of course, we were being greedy because we were down all this money on GLOP and CLSD, and we were like, no, I want that flush down towards 650, and I want, you know, the bigger win. And as you can see, it popped back up. Should have been a cut. Instead, you know, emotions had taken over. I'm still in GLOP, already down, you know, $100+ on that one. And I said, you know what? I'm just going to see if it's a fake out breakout. And then if it is, I'm going to add and look for the big move down. Well, it did fake out breakout for a second. You can see it did come back down. And then it shot right back up. And I covered half at the highs, seeing what it would do at 750. But at that point, I didn't even realize, you know, my emotions had completely taken over at this point. I didn't realize how big I got in this. I was taking 100 shares on something that moved, you know, almost $1. And, you know, that's, for me, $240 max loss. Putting $100 on something that can move $1 is $100. That's way more than I should be risking on an entry position. And as you can see, when it came up here, this is where the broker stopped me out. And to be completely honest, I mean, I don't fault this first trade, but should have taken profit, and then I should have been cutting the rest at the highs. Then when it made this move again, which I would have been green, I could have got back in, and, you know, this would have been the move we were actually looking for. But instead, my emotions took over, and that's that. Ended up with the max loss. You can see 240 is our max loss. We ended up down $242.96. I already looked at it on the TraderSync, and I mean, it actually doesn't look that bad, but I mean, I'll tell you right now, this is probably the crappiest I've felt in a while when it comes to trading. And let me go back so I can get the full screen up. So as you can see, Kevin, sorry about that. You were my my card protector when we were playing poker on Friday. But yeah, I mean, you can see it doesn't look that bad in the grand scheme of things, but it feels pretty bad. 2 trades I should have never been in. Probably shouldn't even have been trading to begin with today because I had the kid home. And I was like, I'll just trade the first half hour, you know, just kind of be done with it. And I don't know how I did it before with both of them. I mean, they were a little bit easier to take care of then because they kind of were just young enough to where they just need to be taken care of. But now it's, you know, they're going through a very needy stage at 5 and 3. So if it happens again, I'm probably just going to take the day off. I feel like every time the kids are home, it turns into a day like this. And it's not always a max loss, but it's just always something with my emotions. And you start looking at these charts and you're like, that's not a typical chart I would look at from Tim or Vesh, you know, whatever you call me. And then, you know, in hindsight, when I come back, when I'm sober again, I say the same thing. You're completely right. But yeah, they get the best of you. That's why we put these max losses in there, because when they get the best of you, imagine had I not taken this off, and then imagine I was as deep as I was and this thing rips up through 8, we would have been down well over $500 because I had 300 shares. We cut 100 of it. We didn't even cut the 200, so we still had 200 shares. So when it went up through 8, that would have been almost another $200 on top of it. So emotions, man, they suck. It sucks, but all we can do is move on to tomorrow, and that's what we're going to do. So until then, I hate making these videos. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you want to show some support, and I'll see you guys in the morning. Peace.